It's your boy Phil back with the Fourth and
Whatever.
Podcast.
So talk to me then. What we talking about today?
Today we're gonna talk about the transition from moving from one school district to another school district and changing jobs and how that looks.
Hey, because people don't realize that transition between the two really does start taking a toll on just you, your family, the emotional toll, the physical toll, and just really everything that comes with all that.
Yeah, for sure. And also just the logistics of it when you have kids and when you don't have kids and how that looks, you know?
And that's gonna be nice because we'll be able to speak from two different standpoints, where somebody who's moving with kids, somebody who's moving without kids, and kind of what that all looks like. So it's gonna be really good to be able to jump in that. But don't forget, we gotta start off with the first district you started with. And then we'll jump back and forth. You'll go District 1 to District 2. And you've only been to 2, right?
Yeah, I've only been to 2.
Okay, and then I'll go from 1 to 2, and then I'll talk about that transition to 3 at the end.
They put a hat on you, bro. That was
Hey,
funny.
the TikTok hat. Talk to him, big dog.
Hey,
Thank you for that. Okay, hey, talk to me now. Talk about this transition
All
we
right,
talk
so
about.
the first district that I was in was Conroe ISD. It's a really great school district, to be honest. If you go look at all the different ratings and stuff about Conroe, it's always one of the most top rated districts. You feel me?
Yeah.
But I was teaching elementary PE, kindergarten through 4th grade, and you've been there before, so you know how taxing that was.
Yes, sir.
I was commuting as well initially I lived in Conroe the first 2 years I was there, and then the last 2 to 3 I was in there, we moved back to Huntsville. So we were commuting back and forth from Huntsville to Conroe, and my wife was working in Conroe as well that last year I was there.
Okay.
But long story short, I was miserable teaching elementary PE. And it wasn't the kids. The kids are gonna be kids all the time. It's hard to be mad at kids, to be honest.
Yeah.
But the way elementaries work a lot of times is they dump on the specials teachers. So when we say specials, we're talking about art, music, and PE. They dump a lot on the specials teachers whenever they are if there's a testing day in the morning times. Like my day started, like my clock for me getting paid started at 7:30. I had kids at 7:30 every day.
Yeah.
While the other teachers usually wouldn't get kids, they would trickle in slowly from 7:30 to 8. And they really wouldn't get teachers. They wouldn't get their whole class there until 8 o'clock. Not me. 5 days a week, every day of the week, I get 100 kids in the morning before my first class even starts. So that's already kind of stressful, and nobody actually cares, more or less.
Yeah.
Nobody in the school, all they think about is, I ain't got to deal with these kids, pretty much. So, and the kids had a choice, and I put the quotes because you get a choice between art, music, and PE. It's elementary kids. Where do you think they're going?
Oh, they're going to PE.
They going to PE. So I'm getting at least 98% of the grade level each morning.
Yeah.
And then, I forgot about this. And for the kindergartners, they made us go take a kindergarten class in the morning on Fridays.
Buddy.
So I got to go cover a class while this teacher gets to go off to their PLC or whatever. And they're in their meetings, which, I mean, yeah, you got to have a PLC, but y'all can also have a conference period where you can have your PLC.
That's diabolic. I ain't gonna lie to you.
Yeah, because when y'all drop your grade level off at specials, that's supposed to be your time to go meet.
Yeah, no, for real.
But I guess they get to double up because they're core teachers. I'm not salty though. But
2 PE teachers, man, it's a struggle.
But so basically, it came down to my wife telling me she was tired of seeing how miserable I was day in and day out.
Okay.
And she needed me to make a pivot. It's time for you to go somewhere else, do something else. I was considering going and being a youth minister. No, actually a college minister. I was going to intern there at the college, at the church we were going to in Huntsville. But that pay it was looking grim. I'm not going to lie to you.
Yeah.
And we had just had Maddox, and Jordan was on the way already. No, Jordan was already here. So I had 2 kids. And you talking about cutting my salary in half. It wasn't going to work.
Yeah, they ain't gonna cut it.
So I did what made more sense. And I just went ahead and quit without a job lined up.
What?
Yes. I quit, and I told my school I wasn't coming back. Didn't have a job lined up, and we went to the Angleton's job fair. My wife got hired. I did not. I was almost a para in BISD.
Diabolic.
Yeah, at Lanier Middle School, but lo and behold, everything fell into place at the end, and I ended up getting a job in Angleton ISD to be a track coach and volunteer for football the first year I was here.
Yeah.
And that happened in July. Like I think the deadline for somebody to leave was like July 11th. I think I got hired like July 8th. And so
Oh
somebody
no,
got
you was close.
yeah, it was right there. Somebody ended up leaving right then and there, and then I get the door open for me to come into Angleton ISD and been here ever since.
Okay, so during that transition, what would you say was the hardest part of the transition? Like, was it the moving part of it? Was it the leaving the kids at the last school? Was it the meeting new people? Like, what do you think the hardest part of that transition was?
I think the hardest part, it's probably a tie. It was leaving the church that we're at because the church we're at was dope.
Okay.
And then also leaving the kids because this is like now I'm getting to see one of the kids that I was teaching back then. He just signed with SMU, and so like I'm seeing where they're going. And a lot of part with elementary, you get to see your kids come back when they get to high school, and it kind of sucked. No, I'm gonna miss them coming back to say like, hey, I remember you helped me out or whatever. But I still a lot of them follow me on social media on IG, which is weird because they didn't have IG back then. They were elementary kids,
Yeah.
but they remembered me enough to go find me or whatever and follow me on socials. And so like now I got to reconnect with them. So that kind of worked out. But the hardest thing was leaving my church and just missing out on those small moments with those kids that I got to teach. That's from as far as personal thing. Logistically, the hardest thing was when we moved, we had nowhere to stay either. So we
Yeah.
ended up moving back with my parents,
Okay.
which ended up being a blessing because I got to stack some money and because I tore my ACL. That's a whole story. We can get to that at the end of this episode.
Okay,
I tore
bet.
my ACL in the March before I quit the job. So I jumped, I tore my ACL and I got back pay. So back pay, when you get hurt on the job, you get workers' comp and they evaluate how significant your injury is. And for whatever time that you were hurt, they back pay you money from where you were. And I was already getting checks before that.
Buddy, I'm gonna tell you right now, if they gotta look at me to see how hurt I am, buddy, I'm about to fall out.
Hey, but free game. So let's say you get hurt as a coach, right?
Okay.
Let's say you do something to your knee
Yeah.
and you go to they're gonna send you to a clinic and they're gonna only have X-ray machine. You have to request an MRI. You got to be wise enough and smart enough to know I need to ask for an MRI so that I can actually get my knee checked out. Because what they try to tell me with I tore my Achilles, like I said, no, yeah, no, I tore my ACL. I'm tripping. I got too many injuries. I tore my ACL this time. And they started to say I had a sprained knee. I'm like, nah, I had a sprained knee in high school. This is not the same thing. So I request the MRI, and sure enough, comes back. I tore my ACL and I tore my meniscus in 3 places.
Talk to him.
Yeah, bro. It was my knee or that kid that I chose to let my knee go.
Hey, sometimes it be like that. Sometimes, hey,
Hey, it's for the kids, right?
that's what we say every episode, man. It's for the kids.
It's for
Hey,
the
before
kids,
we
bro.
get going on mine though, I want to give a shout out. Hey, Nathan, thank you so much for tuning into the stream with us, big dog.
Yes, sir.
So on mine, my rotation. So I've been to 3 different schools so far.
Okay.
So I started out in Temple ISD.
Oh, the Wildcats.
Yeah, out in Syntax. And my time there was absolutely incredible. It was my first job.
Yeah.
That's where I kind of got my foot in the door. But I knew that I didn't want to be there long, not because they didn't do good things, but because I was a junior high teacher and a junior high coach.
That's
And
the
then
double
to
whammy.
just set it off on top of all that, the biggest reason I knew I had to leave was because they didn't have a PE spot for me. So they emergency certed me into 6th grade
Ooh.
world history.
Oh, you had a whole
Actually, that's
class on.
geography. That's geography.
Oh.
It was absolutely awful. Everything about it was awful. I hated it. Listen, so when you're doing that, like right now I'm a PE teacher, so I get to show up in sweats and probably a pullover, even if it's 100,000,000 degrees outside.
Yeah.
I'm gonna wear a pullover and I'm gonna just do all those things. When I was in the classroom, I was forced to wear a polo and slacks every single day. Now, my only saving grace was this because I knew when I got into it. So obviously, I'll be the first to tell you. Everybody's gonna roast, but I just got to put it out there before I get roasted.
Let's hear it.
So obviously, playing a lot of football and wearing a lot of hats, like that hairline started going back on me. So I had to come up with this decision. Do I show up to this school that's a predominantly African American school and let these kids just all out roast me
Yeah.
because the hairline is pushed? Or do I just shave the head bald and call it
You
good?
gotta shave it, bro.
No doubt. That's exactly what I did. So I ended up shaving my head bald. And everybody starts off with the same joke. They're always gonna say, oh, Mr. Clean looking head, ad boy. And so, I've heard that so many times that it just kind of rolls off my shoulder now. Like, buddy, you got to come up with a better one than that.
Yeah.
But the reason I left, hey, chill out, Zach. Hey, so the reason I left Temple was because it was time for me to start growing in my coaching career.
Yeah.
And I feel like a lot of moves that I make is all because I'm trying to elevate myself to the next level. So my dream and my goal one day is to be a head football coach in the state of Texas.
Yeah.
That's very hard to do if all I'm doing is coaching junior high sports.
Yeah,
So
it's near impossible.
yes. So that transition from Temple, I left there on good terms, but just ready to like play for a reason. So that reason was I want to play for Friday Night Lights. I
Yeah.
want to play trying to get into the playoffs.
Okay.
And so the school that I transitioned to after Temple was Diboll ISD, home of the Lumberjacks.
Yeah, my
So
head coach in high school was from Diboll. That's where he came from, Diboll to Angleton.
yeah, so I came, I moved over to Diboll ISD, and that's when I got to experience my first taste of elementary PE.
Hey, you got thrown into the gauntlet for
Hey,
real.
straight into the gauntlet. So, I was the same things that Coach Evans was going through on his as far as, buddy, why I gotta go watch this class? Why am I doing this? Why am I doing that? It's like, buddy, you're a PE teacher. That's
Yeah.
why you're doing all these things. So either you're gonna figure it out or you ain't gonna be a PE teacher here.
Yeah.
So when I got over to Diboll ISD, I was coaching elementary PE, but my coaching duties was varsity football, JV football, and junior high football because over there
Small district,
it's
yeah.
a small district. So you actually like go down into the junior high to check in on those kids and do things like that.
Yeah.
And actually, one of the guys that's in the stream right now, my boy Phipps, he's a Diboll guy, man.
Okay. What's up,
Yeah,
Phipps?
he a Diboll guy. My boy's about to be out in West Texas at West Texas A&M, man. Shout out to my boy Phipps for that, man. Absolutely big time, man. But so I went over there and it was cool, man. I was there for 2 years and I learned so much in my time there. Just because again, when I got there and I'm coaching varsity football for the first time, I think I know everything there is to know about being a coach.
Yeah.
I came to my senses really fast that I really didn't know a damn thing.
Ain't it interesting though how, and I didn't think I knew everything, but I felt like I knew more than I did before I started coaching. For
Yeah,
sure.
yeah, I agree. And I tell people this all the time. Like, just because you were a good high school or college player in whatever sports you are, does not mean you're gonna be a great coach.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, with us being recruiting coordinators, we talk to many of these recruiters who come and recruit kids, and it's like, well, where'd you play at? Oh, I didn't play. I just was a GA, and then I got into coaching.
Yeah.
It's like, so when's the last time you played? High school.
Yep.
So when I got there, like I said, man, I learned so much from those coaches. Just because we had older coaches on staff, and you gotta remember this was my second school that I was a part of a staff that I was still the youngest guy on staff.
That's always
So
fun, huh?
yeah, it's awful, man. Because man, you're the go for guys. Hey, go for this, go for that, go for this, go
Yeah.
for that. And so doing all that when I was there, it was big because I finally got to experience Friday Night Lights. My first year there, we make it to the second round of the playoffs, and we get beat out by Hallettsville,
Oh,
who
snap.
has Jonathan Brooks, who plays for the
Yeah.
Panthers.
Yeah, he was going to UT, right?
Yeah, he went to UT, and then he went and now he plays for the Panthers. And, he played in the state game that year, so that was very tough because you're getting them in the second round of playoffs, and then they go play in the state game.
I mean, you can feel better about it because you lost to the team that went to state. though.
Well, at the end of this, I'm gonna give you a fun fact about my coaching career, and it's kind of wild how it all pans out.
Yeah.
Hey Eddie, what's good? Welcome to the stream, big dog. So we get beat out in the second round. So it was nice because again, my whole objective and goal was to play games that were meaningful for Friday Night Lights.
Yeah.
Then that next year, that second year I'm there, we end up making it to the fourth round of the playoffs.
Okay.
Yeah, we go and play Lorena, and we go play them at Bryan College Station, and we lose to them there, and they go and play in the state game,
Dang.
and they go and win the whole thing at the state game. So now, Chicken Joe, what's good? So now that's where we are as far as, okay, I'm at the point now in my coaching career where it's like, okay, I feel very confident and what I know.
Yeah.
And so these are the thoughts that go through my head when it's time to make a move.
Okay.
Am I still growing? That's
Yeah.
the first question I ask myself.
I got you.
Am I still growing? If I'm not, then it's time to make a move.
Okay.
And it's not necessarily that I wasn't growing at die ball anymore. I just knew that I was ready to kind of deal with a higher level of football.
I
So I
got
went
you.
from a 3A school into my next transition where now I'm here at Angleton.
Okay. So whenever you were, what was the toughest thing from leaving Dieball to coming to Angleton?
The people. I mean, you got to remember the offensive coordinator there in die ball is like essentially like my mentor.
Got you.
So like I even called him before we even started this podcast, like on the way here.
Yeah.
Like I talked to that dude about everything. And so I gave him a call just to chop it up. He was in CDL training, so he wasn't able to answer. But
Gotcha.
leaving die ball was tough because that's kind of where I like had my roots put down for the first time on Friday nights.
Okay, I
You
got
know what
you.
I'm saying?
Yeah.
And so then with that, it kind of made it very, very difficult because the guy who's essentially my mentor, like I'm leaving him to go take another job. And
Okay.
so that was really tough. And then to even put like more stuff on top of that, like it was the place that I felt like I have now grown the most in my coaching career.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And so, leaving there was really, really difficult. Like, I mean, it was, I don't want to say it was a lot of sleepless nights, but it was definitely a lot of thought had to go into it as far as, is this what I need to do? Is this what I want to do? And then after those two things were answered, is this the move that's going to put me to that ultimate goal, being a head football coach in the state of Texas one day?
I got you.
And so after I kind of went through all those things and kind of thought those things through, yeah, I felt like that's definitely the move I needed to make and definitely what I needed to do to put myself in the best position.
That's what's up. I think too, one of the things that we always hear about coaches moving, but you don't ever really think through, or you don't ever hear about, is how important it is for your wife to be on board with the move.
Yeah, for sure.
Because I mean, it's not something that's unknown, but it's a lot of coaches who marriages they get rocky or even fall apart because you're trying to make a move without considering your wife. You're trying to make a move just for your own ambition. And doing that as a coach, number one, if you make that move, now you're going to a new job that's gonna be stress. On top of doing it where your wife is not on board, that's a whole nother stress.
Yeah.
And so you end up having you always see these coaches that got different health issues that are stress related. I think a lot of it happens because if you move selfishly as a coach, it's going to add a lot of turmoil to your life.
Yeah. And so just to kind of piggyback off of that, so one of the big rules that we have in our household, um, with me and my wife is this. Once April hits, I'm not allowed to apply to jobs anymore.
Ooh, that's a good one, bro.
Yeah. And so now, with that being said, it is okay for coaches to still reach out to me,
Yeah.
but I am not going to actively be looking for a job anymore
Okay.
because it's just once you start doing that, you kind of start putting yourself in a really tough spot where you can't really make the move. It's not feasible anymore. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It's like, okay, if you own a house, it's like, I got to sell this house. I got to be looking for a new house. And then if it's a big school district like Angleton is, it's like we don't do it here, but it's like, let's say we're moving to a bigger school, like they do spring football. Well, I got to get down there because if I'm going to be offensive coordinator or in a big position spot,
Yeah.
like I got to be feet on the ground, ready to go.
Okay,
You
that
know, I
makes
got I
sense.
got my boots on the ground. You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
You talk to him.
You feel me? You
Yeah, I
got
still want to do that TikTok. But but with all that being said, like what you said is absolutely big time. Is that both parties have to be in agreement that this is what we need to do.
Yeah.
Because if it's just like if I'm selfishly doing it by myself, you can really put yourself in a bind.
Yeah.
So I feel like every podcast we give you a little nugget. So this nugget is more so geared for my guys.
Let's hear it, bro.
Girls, you can listen, but this is more so geared for my guys. When you're making a life decision, make sure you have spoken to your wife first.
Yeah, bro.
If you decide to make this life decision and you have not spoken to her first about how she feels about the situation, just understand there is going to be turmoil there.
Yeah.
And you can't be mad when she's frustrated about it.
Hey, I've seen it too many times. And I made the mistake myself at times where I made a decision, didn't consider her, and then like now I'm mad that she mad at me. Don't make sense. if I just would have communicated, you know what I
Yeah,
mean? Hey, communication goes what?
both
You
ways.
feel me? It goes both
It
ways.
goes
And
both
so
ways.
if she makes a move and she don't consider me, I without a doubt a lot of times feel jaded because you didn't consider the whole aspect. And free game from the Bible, your wife is called your help me, bruh. She is literally there to help you make wise decisions. And so a lot of times when dudes make moves without considering their wife, you are rejecting wisdom. Because hopefully, whoever you marry, you believe is a wise person. And so when you go to your wife and you talk to your wife through it, they help you make a wise decision. And a lot of times, my wife has a perspective that I ain't got,
Oh, no
that
doubt.
I didn't consider, I didn't think through. And then I'm like, hey, yo, thank you for sharing that. So now I go back to the drawing board and actually have a thorough decision. And whatever we decide, or even whatever I decide, she's on board with, and it's actually thought through in a way that is beneficial to the entire family.
Absolutely. And I'm gonna tell you this too, dog. If there's one thing I've learned about you and I, as far as our friendship in these 3 years, we gonna make rash decisions.
Yeah, hey, I got ADHD
Hey,
bad. I'm hella impulsive.
off the rip. Hey, hey, so Jenny was telling me the other day, I was telling her like, hey, so the only thing I really want for my iPad, because I love it. Everything about my iPad is incredible. The only thing I really want
Yeah.
is a mouse. So I can just move around on it.
Get you
So hey,
$100 mouse
hey,
like
hey,
me,
hey,
bro.
so look. She went out of town, right? And so I was telling her this, like, right before she was leaving. She goes, okay, now don't let me show back up here and you got a mouse in this house
And she
now.
know you
Cause
still.
she knows, she like, you like just kind of threw that out there just to kind of let me know that you may be buying them. And like, no, I'm not gonna buy a mouse.
Yeah.
I told her like I can just go get a cheap one, but it would be nice to have an Apple one that I can just Bluetooth it into.
Hey,
But
hey,
but hey, Gene, yes, the Bible nuggets are dope. I agree. Hey, my boy Evans will always be filled with the Bible nuggets. That's big time for him.
got to, got
But
to.
going back before I jump into my transition to Angleton is the guy in our chat right now, Gene. I mean, he was a absolute like it was tough for me. And here's the crazy part: me and Gene, like when you see me and Gene together, you would think that me and him have known each other for 60, 100,000 million years.
It seemed like it when I'm on the game with y'all, bro.
Yeah, you would think that we've known each other for a gazillion million years, but if you go and look at it, buddy, me and Gene only ever like actually hung out one time.
That's wild.
One time we hung out. Other than that, we hooped together, but that was really it. Other than like outside of that, it was really just I worked with his person and
Yeah.
yeah. So it was kind of different. You know what I'm saying? RG23, huge fan. Hey, thank you so much for that, big dog.
Yeah, what's
But
good, Chris? What's good, Porter?
was good. Hey, but my transition over to Angleton again, it was a lot of thought that went into that because when I was looking at Angleton down here to make that move,
Yeah.
there's a lot of things I had to consider. One, not only did I have to consider my wife in that situation,
Okay.
but two, my biological parents live down here. Now,
Hey, well, now why was that tough for you? Or why was that something that really consider and think through?
well, because so, my parents are divorced.
Yeah.
And so like and I've always just like I kind of just do things by myself. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? I'm not a big like, oh, I need my mom here to do this for me, or oh, I need my dad here to do this for me. That's not me. Like when I went off to college, I think I went back home to see my mom one time in 5 years.
I can't say that, boy. I was home every
Yeah,
other
yeah,
weekend.
and I wish I was different. I wish that was different, but I'm just not really like a homebody as far as like when it comes to that stuff.
Yeah.
So when I was making that move down here, like that was something to really think about. Like, okay, hey, I get to go and spend time with my dad that I hadn't spent a lot of time growing up with, and really just get to hang out with him. But then I get to be able to see my mom as well, which was. But if you people on the stream don't know, that lady Mary Woodard, she gonna make the best jerk chicken in all of B County.
Hey, them breakfast tacos or breakfast burritos. And not tacos.
Yeah, nah,
Them must good, bro.
hey, she gonna make the best jerk chicken in all of B County, and I'll argue with anybody and anybody's mama about that. So if you want to have a cook off between my mama and your mama about jerk chicken, we can do that. Because I'm gonna just say right now, there ain't nobody who make better jerk chicken than my mama.
That mug it's the best I've had.
Listen, when you've grown up in Miami, Florida, pretty much your whole life, and you live by the Caribbeans where jerk is pretty much originated, it's gonna be pretty good.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So, So yeah, so when I had to put that into consideration about moving down here to be able to see like my mom, my dad more often, like that was another thing that was like, hey, that would be dope. Just because I haven't spent a whole bunch of time with my mom and dad since
Yeah,
I've left to go to college, and I didn't spend a lot of time with my dad because again they divorced and I lived with my mom growing up.
yeah,
So being able to kind of enjoy that with them was really nice. It was really big. So when I made that transition down here, I think again, like I said, the toughest things about moving from Dieball to here was just that mentorship that I was gonna lose.
yeah,
And then once I got down here, like it's not a problem for me to make friends. It's just like I know I'm a different type of guy. You know what I'm saying? Like
yeah.
I'm not everybody's cup of tea.
I
Just
feel
because
that.
I'm gonna be loud, my ADHD is gonna go crazy. Like
Yeah,
it's just who I am. And so being able to kind of find people who's like a yin and yang with me or
yeah.
can match that same energy as me is not easy to do.
I got you.
And so being able to find that was absolutely big. But I would say the toughest thing about that move was just going back to what you said. Like I feel like logistics is always hard,
Yeah,
just because it's like you don't necessarily always plan to move or plan to leave. So then when you do, okay, do we have the money to even move?
hey,
Like
that's big.
that, yeah, that like that's the question you gotta ask. Like, and you gotta, okay, have we even thought about what this looks like if we're gonna move?
Yeah,
No, yeah, okay, cool. We can make this work, or I don't know how we're gonna make that work. That's gonna be really difficult to do. You know what I'm saying?
yep.
So
That's a bet. I never get to ask you this. What's your thoughts on Angleton as far as moving into it? Like, what did you think moving in?
I'll tell you, man, as much as I don't want to say it, I am gonna say it.
Let's hear
Angleton really is a little cult.
it. But once you in, bro.
Yeah, but like, you go and look at all the guys on the coaching staff, like
Yeah,
a lot of these guys are from Angleton. And
yeah,
so, like, and I think our head coach does a really good job of, when those guys graduate college, like if they're looking for jobs, even if it's starting them at the junior high level and working themselves up, like he gives them that opportunity.
for sure.
And so it's always nice when these guys who've given so much to a program can leave and come back and now get to invest on the opposite end of what that looks like. And then for like people who've been here a while,
Mm-hmm.
like our head coach, our DC, like even our OC, like they've seen people like dads come through here,
Yeah,
and now those kids are here.
yeah,
So it kind of makes it like cool, kind of seeing it come full circle. But I think moving in, like for me, I like people, so meeting new people isn't a problem.
yeah. I got you.
So I think that's why it's very easy for me to kind of make moves like that, just because I understand people.
Yeah, I got you. I always tell people when like we have somebody move into Angleton, I like Angleton's gonna seem standoffish until you decide to start talking to people. And
Yeah,
as soon as you start talking to people, I feel like 9 times out of 10, you're welcomed in and you find your own group of people.
yeah,
Or you
yeah,
find your
yeah.
own land.
Yeah, and I mean, I've been here 3 years now, and I mean, I think there ain't a soul in Angleton that I don't know. You know
That's
what I'm
how I feel,
saying?
huh?
Yeah, it's
But
like,
you are a Woodard, bruh, in B County. So I mean, your last name it carries as it is.
yeah, this is true.
Because I grew up here and I'm not related to nobody but my parents here, which is
Yeah, mine is a little different, man. I go to Sonic. I told Evans about this probably 2 years ago. I pulled up to Sonic here in Angleton just to get a little drink before school one day, and the lady opens the window and she said, "Are you related to Dito?" I said, "Yes, ma'am. That's my dad." She said, "You look just like him." I said, "Well," and so, but yeah, every time I come down here before I moved down here, it
yeah,
was my dad was, "Hey, let's go meet this cousin, that cousin." So I got cousins in Sweeney, West Columbia,
yeah,
Van Vleck, Beeport, Clue, Lake Jackson, Angleton.
yeah. Y'all
They, I
well
got
known.
hell, I got cousins that play at Iowa Colony. I got cousins that play at Manville, Shadow Creek.
Yeah,
I mean, I got people everywhere. So, if you're listening to this podcast and your last name is Woodard, I'm probably related to you.
yeah,
So, come meet me.
yeah. It's a bet, bro. Y'all need to have some kind of family reunion. Y'all probably
Nah,
ain't got a big enough space for it,
nah,
but
we'll need the whole Wildcat Stadium for that.
that'd be tough though, man.
Nah, that'd be too much going on.
My fault, bro.
Okay, go. You said you was gonna jump back in and talk about this ACL injury, so I need to hear about it, big
All right,
dog.
bro. So look, we're playing Sharks and Minnows, right?
Okay.
Playing Sharks, and I always wanted to be a PE teacher that played the games with the kids.
Yeah.
Because number one, I got to be here and watch this game over and over again. If nothing else, I'm gonna play it so I'm not bored. So I'm playing the game. I was a minnow, and I'm running from one of the kids. It's my fourth graders. Um, I'm running, laughing, looking back. I turn around, and the girl, it's like three girls, but one specifically, she's probably when I turn around, she's like 5 feet from me.
Okay, she right at you.
She right here, and she's like kneeling. So I'm thinking when I turn around, my immediate thought is if I keep running, I'm about to run her over, and she's gonna be concussed. So I cannot keep running. I got to figure out how to make a move or jump over it. I decided I'm gonna jump over it, bro.
Yeah.
Mind you, I wasn't in that great of shape. I take off. As soon as I left the earth, my next thought was, you just did way too much. You jumped way too high. So I'm in the air. I clear her, nice little hurdle. I come down, my left leg, bro. My thigh is pointing straight down. The lower part of my leg, so from my knee down, is pointing to the left.
Okay.
And I can feel all the ligaments rip apart. So this is my set. It's probably like 1:30 at this time. I hit the ground. I can't cry. It must hurt really bad. I ain't gonna lie. I army crawls to the wall. I sit on the wall. They're like, "Oh, you good?" I'm like, "Yeah. My knees hurting." I sat on the wall for the next hour and a half. I taught my third period class sitting on the wall, or my third grade class sitting on the wall. And then I had radioed down to the nurse. I said, "Hey, I need y'all to do whatever you need to do. I can get my knee checked out." And sure enough, this mug was tore my ACL and tore my MCL, or my meniscus in 3 places.
Buddy, that kneecap was gone.
Yeah, it was sitting sideways like Paul Wall. You feel me?
Talk to him, boy. Talk to him.
But that ended up being a blessing. I tell people this story all the time. That me tearing my ACL is how we end up getting a house. Had I not torn my ACL, I wouldn't have got the workers' comp. I wouldn't have got the back pay that we got to save to have a down payment for the house, and that led to us getting a house. So, hey, God wiser than me. I tore my ACL. That was the blessing I needed to get a house.
I need to tear mine.
I
need to tear mine.
I'm like, hey, I've said it before, bro. If I get hurt, bro, I pray it's at work.
Oh, no doubt.
I pray it's at work. I'm not trying to get hurt at work. I'm actually trying to avoid that, bro. Especially, and I'm accident prone, as you've seen over these last 3 years, bro. Like,
yeah,
like the grease that burned me. You feel me?
No. I got you, dog. I got you.
But if I get hurt, Lord, let it be at work. Don't let me get hurt and I gotta pay for everything. That sucks, bro.
Hey, we're teachers.
Yeah.
We don't make money like that.
And they tax us on health insurance.
That's wild.
Ain't it though?
Listen, I'll be honest with you people, my people listen to the stream. It really wasn't until about 2 years ago that I even had life insurance. But I was just out there. But when we don't get paid enough money for me to have to pay for insurance for my own self.
Yeah.
So, I already said it probably 3 or 4 podcasts ago. I hate insurance. I think it's the dumbest thing we've ever had in this world. Just hear me out. Hear me out.
Let's hear your argument, bro.
If I have to pay insurance, let's say example, car insurance, right?
Yep.
Car insurance. So I don't even know how much we pay, but let's just say we pay $2,000 a year in car insurance.
Okay.
Just rough guessing. If I don't get in a wreck or I don't get a speeding ticket, the insurance company should have to pay me back 1/4 of what I had to pay them.
Hey, so why now you on to starting a business now?
Because it just makes sense that why do you get to keep this money and I didn't do anything wrong?
You took care of business.
Yeah, I took care of business, but now you get to keep all the money.
Yeah.
I'm just thinking, I just think that could be a good starting point. Hey, give me 1/4 of what I paid you, and now we can just call it even. So that would just be out of $2,000. Give me $500 back.
Hey,
or put that $500 to my next title, to my next policy.
That would be, yeah. Look, bro. So other episode we had feel good cakes, bro.
Yeah.
We finna have feel good insurance, bro.
Hey, I'm here for it.
And I'm giving, I can't give you 1/4. I ain't gonna lie, that's too much. But when you looking at a good 4 to 10% back, nobody else is doing it. You can be mad all you want. Nobody else is giving me back, bro. I pay you 4 to 10% of what you paid in your policy back, bro. That's a win.
I ain't gonna lie to you, buddy. You really trying to jit me right now.
It's capitalism.
Buddy, you're making $1,500 off of my policy.
And what are you mad about, bro?
But
I'm giving you money back.
That's true. Cash back would be a big thing.
Feel me?
Yeah, 4 to 6%. I can get on board with that.
Yeah.
I just think that it only would be fair. it doesn't make any sense that I pay all this money to car insurance and then I took care of business.
Yeah.
I didn't drink and drive.
Yeah.
I didn't get a speeding ticket. I didn't get in a wreck. And now it's like you pretty much got that money for free.
Yeah.
You got that money as a just in case. And you want to know the craziest part about all of it?
Let's hear it.
Is let's go over to health insurance real quick.
Okay.
This what blows my mind about health insurance is I'm gonna have health insurance, right?
Yeah.
And then something's gonna happen, and they're gonna tell me, "Hey, that actually don't go into effect until you hit your deductible."
That man.
So hold up.
Yeah, that
So
mess
I'm
rough.
paying you $2,000 for this health insurance, and then I gotta hit a $3,000 deductible, and then you will now take over it. So essentially, I've just paid you $5,000.
And you know what they're gonna say?
Let me hear it.
They're gonna say, look at that bill and look how much you would have paid without us.
No, I agree. The
Hey.
bill is big time.
It's rough though, because I got asthma, my kids got asthma, and we be at the doctor a lot, and so we be praying for that deductible to hit, and it seemed to always hit like maybe 2 to 3 months before everything resets, and then you got to start all over again. That mess is very frustrating without a doubt.
Yeah,
bro.
I just think the whole again, I'll say it time and time again, and the government can get mad at me.
Yeah.
Insurance is a fraud, and we shouldn't have it.
I feel you.
If we do have it, I should be able to get cash back 4 to 6% of my policy.
Yeah.
If you want to keep the money in house, take my 4 to 6% and put it to my next policy.
Yeah.
Like, so then it's like, it's almost like when you get a gift card somewhere, like you can't go in there and say, hey, I got a $25 gift card. Can I just get $25 in cash back? No, because then we lose money.
Yeah.
Because that gift card already got money on it.
That's real. Hey, shout out to Jordan Good, my boy Langston, bro.
Hey, yeah, hey, for
shout
sure.
Out to them boys,
hey,
man.
Thank y'all boys for being in the stream, big dogs. But I just think that if I could take it and put it back into the policy on my next one, that we could be on to something.
Yeah.
So I definitely think that's something we need to look into because I think we could
bro.
start a company. Because just think about every insurance. Like we would have to monopolize all of the insurance on there, all of it. So if we did that, buddy, we could make $1 million company
quickly.
And I'm gonna just say this: if I had $1 million, I'd still coach.
I would too, bro.
Nah, I'd pull up probably in the most all-out lifted Jeep you could possibly find.
Yeah,
but I'm a still coach.
Yeah, I'm gonna try to talk to the district. Hey, can I just?
But I'm gonna tell you this.
Can I just coach? And
yeah. I'm gonna tell you this though. I'm a still coach, but don't make me mad. I'll walk out in a heartbeat. I got the means to just.
I don't need this.
Yeah, I don't need this. I'm doing this just out of love for the game. But as we're sitting here, I do have a whatever topic.
Let's hear it.
I need to know your thoughts on the Women's College World Series.
I mean, I think Texas. I need the dub, bro. They got somebody from Angleton on that team. It got to be Texas, bro.
Man,
I know where you probably coming from and how you probably feeling, and that's okay. But I'm not rooting against the home team, bro. And they the home teams. They got somebody from the hometown.
Yeah, buddy. I'm going for Tech, dog. And here's the thing.
Come on.
I'm not even a Tech fan. I'm probably the furthest person from a Tech fan. I'm not even close to a Tech fan.
Yeah.
But that is like where I grew up, essentially, like 30 minutes from Lubbock.
Yeah.
I do have to kind of pull for that team.
I feel you.
Because like I was gone when she was here. So I don't even know her.
I got you.
You know what I'm saying? So I get pulling for the home team and doing all those things. I'm just saying I don't care for that. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Hey, Christian, you talking about them kids? Get them kids, man.
That girl said them baby kids in the back.
If you hear kids in the background, man, that's the our kids and the neighborhood kids back there. This is what it is. The kids in the neighborhoods come over here, bro.
But I'm gonna talk about with the Women's College World Series. I'll be honest with you, like I don't really watch softball all year.
Yeah.
But there's always like when it's big events like this, like buddy, I'll stay up to the ungodly hours of the night and I'll wake up at the ungodly hours of the morning to watch these things.
I will say, honestly, softball is more entertaining than baseball.
Oh, for sure. I would 1,000% rather watch softball than watch baseball. Not even close. Baseball could possibly go down as one of the most boring sports I've ever sat and watched.
Yeah, I wouldn't now. College baseball is better than Major League Baseball. It's better. It's better.
It is better. I don't think baseball as a whole is all that exciting.
And you know what it is? Because think about like I'm sure you would say college football is better than pro football, right?
Yes, for sure.
Okay, so now with all the advertising that happens inside of the NFL and Major League Baseball, baseball is already a slow game.
Yeah.
So you throw in all the ads and all the commercials they got to do. You taking a game that's already slow paced and basically chopping and screwing it.
Well, and you know that the game was moving too slow when they now have the pitchers on a pitch count, like on a timer.
Yeah,
Like you got to throw the ball within this time where it automatically goes in as a ball.
yeah. And I didn't grow up with baseball, so people about to be mad at me probably. People when they flip the bat when they hit a home run, I think that mess is live.
Super.
Because I mean, if I hit a ball 450 yards or 450 feet, I'm about to flex. Believe that. My bat, I'm gonna hold it in my hand and flip it out. I remember being in Little League. I used to walk to the plate with the barrel of the bat in my hand, right?
Yeah.
Like I was like I was super cold.
Like you was him.
And then I would like sling it to my hand, get my stance or whatever, and rock like that. To me, it was like you gotta have show. If the game is slow, you need showmanship to make it entertainment.
Yeah.
Entertaining.
No, I agree. I agree. But I will tell you, man, watching the super. So I kind of picked up with the college softball World Series, like right when the regionals started. So I
Yeah.
got to watch regionals, super regionals, and now the college World Series.
Okay.
Um, and the amount of times I was able to call the walk off was unreal. Like,
Yeah.
I sat here like, hey, she about to hit this homer and tie this game, and they're gonna win in extras. And bow, hit it, go to extras.
Yep.
So I mean, it was absolutely crazy, kind of being able to do like watch that, and then, like I said, it's just super entertaining. More so because the game sports are evolving, obviously,
Yeah.
and a lot of guys who don't watch a lot of girl sports, like I don't watch a whole lot of girl sports, but I really do enjoy, like I said, like the Olympics. I love watching beach volleyball. I love watching just normal volleyball. I
Yeah.
love watching
Breakdancing.
break dance. Hey, we can get on breakdancing too. That's fine too. I just enjoy like it gives me a better appreciation for women's sports just
Yeah,
because
for
like
sure.
I coach a predominantly male sport,
Yeah.
and so being able to like see that, hey, yes, the game of football is evolving, but so is girls basketball,
Yep.
and so is girls softball, and so I just think it's super dope being able to see these girls evolve, and it's like one of these girls comes to the plate, but if she can hit a home run at any given second.
Yeah.
Like back in the day, like that was like very like, not necessarily unheard of.
But it was
It,
definitely more rare.
yeah, like you had that one girl who was like an anomaly compared to all the other girls in softball. It's like, okay, when this girl comes to the plate, she can hit a home run. Now, like you just see one girl come to the plate, and you're like Oregon had a girl on their team who was like 5'2", play shortstop for them,
Yeah.
but she like led Oregon in home runs. And you're like,
That's tough.
buddy, you're 5'2". But again, because the sports are evolving so much, like you can't take any of these kids for granted. It takes
Yeah.
literally one swing of the bat and bam, it's gone. Hey, Gene, I agree with you. Women's basketball and volleyball is super live to watch.
Yeah.
And now with Angel Reese and Caitlin Clark in the WNBA, like it has really changed the game for the WNBA. I really do believe that wholeheartedly that the game has evolved because of them. I'm not saying they are the reason it's different, but it has evolved because of them.
Yeah, they take them to a whole nother level.
Well, this just give them a lot more exposure.
Yeah.
You know what I'm
Which
saying?
has been cool to see.
Yeah.
How do you feel about Tex Pitcher, Kennedy?
Man, listen. I love watching her play.
Yeah, she cold, bro.
She play with just a lot of swagger.
Yeah.
And on top of that, it's super dope to see a girl get $1 million NIL deal.
Mm-hmm.
Like, dude, we got guys who aren't even getting that.
Yeah, and it's even colder to see her get that deal and back it up.
Yes, sir.
Because I think it was a guy in college basketball who got a big deal like that.
Yeah.
And he didn't really back it up, and he spent the whole after their season ended, he's like apologizing almost for taking the money and taking the NIL deal because he felt, I guess, guilty for taking it and not performing the way he expected to.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, I just think that, like you said, it just makes a lot of sense that hey, if you're gonna pay for this, you got to perform.
Got to.
And so, and another cool thing is, she's making a lot of money now, but she also just signed another deal with the Matador in Lubbock, which is like Tech's like biggest outlet
Oh yeah,
for Texas Tech sports.
that's what's up.
So she just signed a 7-figure deal with them. So I don't know if you know this, but that means that she's going to be back at Tech next year, and that means also that Tech's going to be able to have the NIL money to go get people from the portal.
Yeah.
Because I just saw that OU has 2 girls that played started in their outfield that are
Mhm.
going into the portal. What do you think Glasgow is gonna do?
I'm trying to go to Tech, you feel me?
Nah, for real. Like,
Um,
and what I'll tell you, the things that I this is my biggest flex of knowledge.
let's hear it.
What I love about women's sports, honestly, at the college level, is because the professional level for some of these sports aren't as like
Yeah, I was about to
high
say the same
class,
thing.
you get to see them for 4 years.
Yeah,
Like, I love that, like, they get to go through this and I mean, spend Angel Reese said it best. She made more money being a college athlete with NIL money than she will in her first 4 years on her WNBA contract.
yeah.
So, if you're looking at it like this, why would you ever leave college and go professional
I be there the whole
as a
time.
woman if you're not even making the money?
Yeah,
Now, what her saving grace is in the WNBA is obviously she has a lot of deals. You know, she already has her own shoe. She's with
yep,
Reebok. So
yeah.
she already has her own shoe line. She's in a lot of commercials now.
She got a podcast.
She got a podcast. And so, when you're doing all those things, like, yeah, you're gonna be able to put yourself in a position where you're gonna be able to be super successful on the back end of those things. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I think NIL is definitely more important for the girls sports than it is for the guys. I
Oh,
guess because the guys
100%.
deserve to get paid for sure, but like knowing, because to me, you watch all these girls in high school and middle school playing softball and how much money and how much time their parents put into it, and I always think about, man, so they're trying to get them a college education, and with guys sports, a lot of times they're trying to get their kids to the league. So
Yeah,
these girls got a chance now to go make money that's life changing for them when they get to college because it's blowing up and getting so much bigger. And because of the alumni bases and the booster clubs for colleges, there's just so much more money that's available to actually pay them
absolutely.
throughout the seasons.
Absolutely. And like you said, there's no telling what this next NIL deal is gonna be for Kennedy
Yeah.
at Tech. You know,
Yeah.
it's hey, I got y'all to this point, and she doesn't seem like a I need more money,
No.
but that's
It's
the
just yeah,
nature of the game.
I raise the standard.
I just moved the standard. Y'all never played in the College World Series ever, and now you're here.
Yeah. Hey, Langston asked in the chat how we feel about NIL being accepted in Texas high school. You want to go first on that? Or you want me to go first?
You can go first.
I think number one is inevitable. I think it was gonna happen no matter what. I don't think Texas, as much as we like to drag our feet on change, it was gonna happen. I just pray with them talking about making transfers open and giving kids one free chance transfer that it doesn't turn into the Wild West here. Because I think when you add in NIL on top of letting a kid transfer one time in their high school career, that could be crazy really quick. Like,
Oh yeah.
and that could be a deal where like to me, what makes high school sports so much better is number one, you're true amateurs playing the game, and then on top of that, the kids are hungry. Like what makes the pros and stuff like that fall out to me is the people playing are less hungry. Like when you play high school sports, whether you just playing for the pride of your town or you playing to get to the next level, you're hungry, and so you play that much harder.
Yeah.
You get to college, you're still hungry, but now you're at NIL, and you can see it a little bit last year. Where like it's the game's dope. I love college football, but with them making more bread, like the hunger kind of shifts. And so you get to the NFL or to the NBA and the players, like the NBA got the biggest issue of all right now. Their players always trying to find a way to not play their games. And so it just takes away the hunger. So I think kids should make money for sure. Cause I mean, and to me, it shouldn't be them getting paid. I think like, bro, you should be able to go start a YouTube and document your career and make money from that. Like, I think that should be able to happen. I think you should be able to, if you want to sell merch with yourself because you're the biggest recruit, you should be able to do that. I think it shouldn't be like schools paying them. If a company decides they want to give you some bread, so you do a commercial for them, and you're high school, why shouldn't that be okay?
Yeah, nah, for real.
You know
I,
what I
I
mean?
I agree with that. So have you actually looked at like the UIL and what they said about the high school?
I skimmed it a little bit, but I was chasing the kids, so
No,
not
yeah,
that
yeah, yeah.
well.
So Langston, that's a really good question you asked. So I've done a little bit of research on what this looks like. And so this is what it comes down to. I agree with Coach Evans where it shouldn't be the one-time transfer. I think that when you do that, you start letting people that aren't in Texas high school coaching make decisions because then they'll just say, hey, why don't you just go to North Shore, just go to Duncanville, or just go, like, go to this powerhouse and then we'll be good.
Yeah.
But what I think, not what I think, what I read from the UIL bill that we got is this. Let's say for myself, I'm gonna go play college football at TCU because TCU is my favorite school.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. So I want to go play at TCU and TCU really wants me. So I will be able to start an NIL deal with TCU with a contract.
Okay.
This contract, though, I will not be able to start that contract, one, until I'm 17,
Mhm.
and two, I'm not allowed to receive any of that money until I have enrolled and stepped foot on that campus.
Yeah.
Once I've done those two things, I can now get the NIL money from that school.
Yeah.
Um,
And I think that's a good setup, to be honest.
Yeah, that's the way they have it set up. So that's what I'm saying is I don't think the UIL needs to make it where you can transfer one time. I take that out of the picture.
Yeah.
I think that's what makes Texas high school football really good is, hey, you don't get to transfer. You got to play where your roots are, and if you want to be a big time recruit, go be that, and don't make a juggernaut team where you just have all these juggernauts and nobody ever has a chance.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? But I think that the NIL for high school kids, like Coach Evans said, is I think it's inevitable. It's going to happen. And I think that you have to let these kids be able to go make money. Because here's the thing: a lot of these guys who are some of your huge, big time master recruits, they get to this position because they have nothing,
Nothing at all,
and
bro.
they know that football. This is just me speaking out loud from a kid who grew up with just a single mom, 4 kids. We didn't have all the money in the world. We were just trying to make stuff ends meet here and there.
Yeah.
Is if these kids are able to do these things by make money, and I know that I'm a top prospect, but I come from nothing, I can now help my family.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Because I mean, I've seen it with my own 2 eyes, like big time recruits
Mhm.
who still got to go out there and do manual labor just to help mom
Yeah.
put food on the table. And you're talking about, and you think about it, it's like when this kid goes off to college, he's a let's say he's a top 5 recruit. He's gonna have everything he could possibly want right at his fingertips.
Yep.
He's gonna have 3 meals a day. He's gonna have all the snacking he wants. He's gonna be on a nutrition plan. He's gonna have an open weight room. He's gonna have every piece of clothing, shoes, whatever you need. He's gonna have.
Yeah, for
But
sure.
the question always is, what does my family have?
And if they ain't got nothing, I'm successful to this city, and I'm bringing money to the city, or we're creating all this revenue. Like, it's to me, it's the same argument they have for college. It's only right that you get a piece of something,
Yeah, I
so I
mean,
can take care of my family.
but I think that just comes down to what we talked about is just like insurance. Like
Yeah.
everybody wants, but when it's time that they got to pay up for something, is oh no, we don't. You know what I'm saying? Like that's the
Yeah.
thing is I've learned in my time of being an adult is the poor stay poor and the rich stay rich.
Yeah.
And
That's
if you're a
facts.
middle class person, it's really tough to be in this world.
Yeah, cause
You
you
know,
in limbo all the
yeah,
time.
because like at some point in life, you're gonna have enough money to be able to do some of the things that the richer people are doing. But at some points in life, but you ain't got nothing.
Yeah.
You living down like the other people.
Yeah.
And so, I think it just becomes really, really difficult. But Langston, I think that was a really good question. So if I had to answer it in like a one sentence, how I feel about it, I really do like it. And I think that if it's done correctly, I think it could be very, very beneficial to high school kids.
Yeah.
I think if they let it turn into what college has turned into, the wild, wild west, where you can do what you want, how you want to do it, I think that is when the love of Texas high school football will just become like every other state. And it's just,
It's gonna go downhill
yeah,
fast.
it's just a game that you play and whatever, whatever.
And
So,
I also think something that a lot of people aren't thinking about, because you talking about signing a contract with a school, is now you got kids that really and truly need to get lawyers to
no,
be able to
yeah.
look through their contracts, and that's a big ask for a high school kid and a kid's family that go out and lawyer up before they get in a deal, because it's a lot of colleges, and you saw this last year where they're making promises and not keeping up with what they promised the kid, and then blowing up in their face, and you got whole teams trying to transfer.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, the biggest one was UNLV.
Yeah.
I mean, UNLV, I mean, you start out 7-0, and then your starting quarterback decides, hey, you ain't gonna pay me, I ain't gonna play no more.
Yeah, this is crazy.
Like, yeah, it's kind of mind blowing in my head how that all worked. But yeah, I just think that we have to, like, I just think the UIL and the NCAA, I think that we got to stop being soft. You know
Yeah.
what I'm saying? I think we just got to put our foot down on certain things, and you got to be okay with some people wanting to leave and go other places.
Yeah.
Because of, hey, this is how we're gonna do this, and I just think that we hold Texas football to such a high degree, and if I feel like if we hurt it any way, we can really put a bad light on Texas high school football
Without a
because
doubt.
that's what everybody knows Texas for.
Yep.
Texas high school football, like, man, anytime I go anywhere, where you from? Texas? Wow, y'all play a lot of really good football down there.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's why when I became a coach, it was, hey, I want to go to Texas and be a Texas high school coach. And then like people don't realize like, but it may be easier for me to get into police academy than it is for me to get a head coaching job in Texas.
For sure.
Like that, being a head coach in Texas is like, to me, the pinnacle of a Texas high school coach, if
Yeah.
that's what you want to do.
For sure.
So we can wrap this bad boy up.
All right. This is another episode of the Fourth and
Whatever
Podcast. We'll see y'all next time.
Peace.